make it jump, jump, jump. Dum, 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 back it up, up. You know I love to make it jump.
Welcome back to Daytime Live. Now today, it's all about self-care and wellness. It's based on how I'm dressed and how Nation is dressed. But right now, we're going to get very real. How can we talk about wellness without talking about our health? Now, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm honored to have Dr. Stephanie Liao, and she's here in studio with me, and she's a consultant general and breast surgeon at the University Hospital of the West Indies. I would like to welcome
Thank you.
Dr. Liao to Daytime Live.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
You all right?
Yes.
Dr. Liao is here. She's like, oh my God, I'm here. But that's fine. You know,
Yeah, that's good.
when they talk about breast cancer awareness or breast cancer, the first thing persons want to know is that how do you get an inclination or signs that there may be or someone has breast cancer?
Yeah, so I want to present that in the form of an asymptomatic patient or a symptomatic patient, which is what you're asking me about.
Right.
Our preference as surgeons is to meet someone who was not symptomatic at all.
Right.
That is because the asymptomatic patient is the one who would have screened for breast cancer.
Right.
And that basically means that in the breast, you know, we have what we call milk sacs and milk ducts. In these ducts, which are like a tube, we have normal cells in it usually.
Right.
But sometimes those cells begin to look abnormal and they can form cancer cells.
Right.
And what we want with screening is to find when those cancer cells are within the milk ducts and confined to the milk ducts.
Right.
And that is what we want with screening. We don't want symptomatic patients, right?
So asymptomatic is when someone who doesn't
They have no symptoms.
No symptoms
So the
at
imagery
all.
that has the breast in it,
Right.
with the duct, basically we want patients to come in because they're actively and we're being proactive about screening. And screening, our guidelines tell us to start screening at age 40 for women who are what we call average risk. Average risk women have about a 15% lifetime risk of developing breast cancer. I'm average risk based on my calculations. And I should get a mammogram every year, at least until I'm 75. When you go to your doctor now, if you haven't reached the age of 40, you also need to be seen by a doctor, be examined. You have to be self-aware of your breast.
Right.
And on that point, a breast self-examination is not a screening tool. Your hand is not a screening tool. My hand is not a screening tool.
I think we should emphasize that point.
Yeah, it's not a screening tool.
Right.
So you're not to stay home until you're 40 examining your breast because, yes, we believe you and we know what your breast feels like, but it is not a screening tool.
And screening would actually help with detecting breast cancer because you can have breast cancer and you actually don't know.
You don't know. So you want to catch it before you have any symptoms at all. Right, because we already know about the common symptoms. When it becomes symptomatic, you have local symptoms like redness of the breast. You could have a rash. Some women present with just a rash on the nipple, a bloody nipple discharge, or what we call an orange peel appearance. That's when it's more advanced. It looks like the outside of an orange, right? Or you may have a swelling underneath the arm. That's unfortunately when it has spread to the underneath the arm, the lymph nodes in the armpit.
Right.
And then we have the systemic symptoms, which you don't want either. That means it probably has spread, right? So it can spread to your lungs or your liver or so on your brain.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah, I can see that concern in your face.
Yeah.
We talk about different ethnic groups.
Yeah.
We often want to find out about black women.
Yes.
And are they more susceptible to contracting breast cancer? How does it affect different ethnic groups? But I want you to really concentrate on black women.
Yeah. So that's pretty important because, as we know, 90% of Jamaica are black people, correct? So if we look at it on an international level, breast cancer is increasing in its rate at 1% per annum over the last 22 years, It's mostly because of lifestyle choices, so increasing weight and childbearing choices as well. But if we look at, for example, I'm going to quote a study from the UK this year because we have a lot of Caribbean migrants to the UK. That study found that actually Caucasians, or what we call non-Hispanic white women, actually have the highest rate of breast cancer. And that's been seen in many studies. But right behind Caucasian women are Black Caribbean women who have the second highest. among all other ethnicities in the UK.
Why Black Caribbean women though? Is it a lifestyle?
So no, I think it's something that's still being studied. We're not quite sure why in particular, and it's something that we're researching in the Caribbean here, because if now we're talking about Jamaica, Jamaica has the 4th highest incidence of breast cancer in the Caribbean, but we have the highest mortality rate. And one of the reasons why, and that rise in breast cancer incidence is particularly high in young Black women under 45. And what we know so far about that is that these women, Black women in this category, they present later, meaning the breast cancer has spread from the breast itself to the lymphatics in the armpit. And that's a higher stage. They present higher stage, more aggressive breast cancers. For example, there's a type of breast cancer that we call triple negative breast cancer. It's one of the most aggressive types, and we see it twice as much in Black women. And this is all related to screening habits and access to health care and access to screening and the follow-up care needed with the investigation of breast cancer as well. And so it is very sad because it's almost like we as a Black population are our own enemy because we're not screening and we have the worst outcomes.
Doc, you're spitting a lot of facts, a lot of things that we should know. What are some of the things that we shouldn't know? There's some misconceptions, information that is out there that we should just put aside.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to address, which some people might be upset about, is deodorant. So why the deodorant myth is a problem is because some people are told that when they put the deodorant underneath the arm, it can block up the lymphatic channels and cause lymph node swelling in the armpit. There's no facts to it. They even did studies to show that this is not true. The problem with it is that, and many surgeons I'm sure have this experience where you would have a woman come to the clinic with breast cancer that has spread to her armpit. And she was at home changing the brand of deodorant, changing it.
And it has no impact.
It has no impact. Zero. So she'll come at a very advanced stage because somebody said, oh, just change the deodorant now because that brand, it can cause
So to enforce it, you have to say in a Jamaican term, 0-0. You have to double it,
There's no risk of breast cancer with your deodorant. I do advocate for women to choose products that have, less what we want to call cytotoxic chemicals in it. But to be clear, if you have a swelling underneath your arm, go to a doctor immediately. It's not your deodorant.
All right, as a man sitting here, and of course we want our women to be as healthy as possible. How can we provide that support? We can't say, hey, we have an arm, and then you have an arm. So we can say you deal with the arm in a particular way. How can we really be there for our women as best as possible? What are some of the things that we can do?
So I would say that we're talking here about facts and statistics. We have to deal with facts and statistics and what the science says. We rely a lot on culture and what our friends say and what people say, and it's a really dangerous thing. And I want to say that a lot of this is fear-based. We perpetuate fear amongst ourselves. And all it does is make us make bad choices for ourselves. And we listen to people and we end up making a choice that impacts on our future and not theirs. And so it's important for particularly women to encourage them to visit a doctor, practice good breast health, which may involve modifying some of your risk factors because there are some factors that we have control over. Exercise. We need to be exercising at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week, alternating between resistant exercising or cardiovascular exercise. Alcohol is a known carcinogen. It's hard for us to stop drinking, I know, but some studies have shown recently there's no known safe amount of alcohol. In fact, when we're screening for breast cancer, like your risk category, if you're calculating your risk, if you're high risk or not, alcohol, the amount you take per day, per week, the type of alcohol is put into that calculation.
All right, Dr. we don't have a lot of time.
Okay,
it's something
sorry.
we can talk about. No, we can talk about this for hours, days, weeks, maybe. Let's just cover some of the facts. One, deodorant has zero effect, right? Self-care, self-examination is not screening.
It's not a screening
So go
tool.
screen, and if you're 40, at age 40,
start screening
every single year. How can persons find you on social media if they want to get some more information?
Right, so I'm on Seabal Jamaica on Instagram. That's my social media. And I wanted to thank Ira Jamaica and the artist, Dr. Chad Hammond, for the imagery that you had up there.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
You did great. High five.
Thank you.
All right, that was Consultant General and Breast Surgeon at the University Hospital of the West Indies, Dr. Stephanie Leo. Don't go anywhere. After the break, Nation dives into Paradise with Miss Paradise Plum, Naomi Cowan.
Original no be parody. You know fit like